Hello, everybody. Um, I have to keep going with this. So basically, nothing changes. This is all about my story, how I escaped the horrors of Section 8. If you are one who is a participant of Housing Authority, they've been keeping it hidden that Housing Authority is actually operated by the mafia. And the reason being is because the government didn't want to deal with housing and people. So they gave it to somebody. And what did they do? Pass it on to the mafia. I noticed that since I started this fighting against them, all of a sudden, we're talking about justice, everything was landed in my lap. That's how I found out that information. Now, to reiterate some of what I discussed prior, sometimes my emotions get the best of me, and I can't half the time explain this because it just hurts me so bad to know that my daughter was murdered all because I wanted to work and get off Section 8 Housing Authority. Like, who does that? In addition to that, they tried to murder my youngest. She was only 12 years old. So when I sit back and think about all this and take all this in, it's so heavy on my heart. I mean, look at all these gray strands up here. I'm getting older, so I don't know what, because these people just think that this is what they can do and how they will take over somebody's life. So that means everybody who's on Section 8 is experiencing the same thing, but just don't know it. Now, I'm going to kind of reiterate some of what I discussed in part two, because again, I got a little emotional and I'm like, okay, I got to go back over this so you can understand what I'm saying. First of all, it was the newspaper. See, it was the Express Times. When I talked about the Express Times, because this is when my daughter was murdered, it was a triple homicide murder, but they wanted to pass it off as a gangland hit. So after they murdered her, had her murdered as a slap in the face, this is the Express Times newspaper. I held on to it. But look, what do you see there? I'm on the front cover. You can see the lines here and the tape on top of it because I was about to cut it out. And then I had thought about it like, wait a second, if I cut it out, nobody won't know that I was on the front cover. I made the front cover of the newspaper. This would have been a triple homicide murder. Why am I the only one there? This is a way to get back to me to let me know, listen, we could slap you. We could murder your kids and there's nothing you can do. Yes, they showed me. I'm not gonna get emotional. Not this time. I can't. Because I have to hold back my tears. I'm trying to. I'm gonna show you the picture again. Okay. And they couldn't wait. This is what they did to my daughter. I want everybody to see this in a casket. And why? Why is she in a casket? How old she was? She was 23 years old. Had her murdered. And I'm gonna keep on saying this because I wanted to work for a living. I wanted to work. Let me show you this. Again, I didn't reiterate everything of what I was getting at on part two. Okay. What happened was I had my phone on. At the time, my number was 973-375-7041. You see it there? 973-375-7041. It probably, I think it looks backwards, so you can't really tell. But I could tell you this much. You can see this number right here, 172. And see this number here, 125. Okay. These was two bills that I had that they, let me start with the first one. The first bill was $172. Okay. When I had that bill, I knew I couldn't afford the bill. So what they did was they told me it was going to be disconnected. I believed it. Okay. Go ahead and disconnect it. I got my cell phone. I can't use it anymore. I can't afford the bill. I got to look for another job. Okay. So I used my cell phone for it. Anyway, when the bill got to 175, 172, and mind you, this went back a few months before it got up to 172 before I thought they cut it off, but they didn't. The bill just disappeared. I couldn't figure out where the bill went. Now, mind you, look at the date. This is July 7th, 2007. July 7th, 2007, right? Now, I got a little confused because sometimes when you get to the point where you're dealing with something like this and you trying to grasp everything and just kind of figure things out, put everything in perspective, it's hard. And sometimes you may forget. So I remember in July was when she called and told me about what she found. Mommy, I found it. I found it. I said, you found what? What are you talking about? I found the cameras in the smoke detectors. I was like, no. Because prior to her telling me this, I had already told her, don't call me on the house phone. Call me on my cell. For some reason, I thought it would be a little more safer. And she forgot. So she called me. And that was around July, I will admit. So right away, they didn't turn my phone off still. Because by the time I got the second bill, and even though I was wondering, where did this bill go? By the time I got this bill for the 125, look at the month. See the month? I want you to look real good. The month is November 2007. See it? Okay. Now, November 2007, I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, now that I have proof that the cameras is in the smoke detectors, I'm taking their tails to court. Okay, so I'm gathering all my information from every angle, from different aspects. I mean, the landlords, there's other parties that was involved, Verizon, there's PSC&G, like they was all a part of this whole pornography scandal. And I couldn't figure out what in the world, even down to I make music. I'm a writer. I've been writing for years. I've been singing all my life. Let me tell you this. Now, back on this before I move on. As I showed you, this right here, this form, this is my credit report. They put the bills on my credit report, and I'm trying to figure out where these bills go. Right here on my credit report. November 29th, 2007, about 4 or 5 days after Thanksgiving, they murdered my daughter. And that was the last I see a bill from Verizon. Right after they had her murder. So that means Verizon's CEO, his name is Lowell McAdam. At that time, he was the CEO. He had my phone tampered with. Not only did they tap it so that they was able to figure out what I was, my conversations with not only her, but anybody. They made a mistake and connected my phone with my neighbor upstairs. So every time my phone rings, hers would ring. And that's what I said. I wanted to kind of reiterate and go over this again to let you guys know. I'm not even sure if anything was wrong with my phone in the first place. Now that I think back. But being in our line, and somebody called me and they said, hello, can I speak to Olivia? And the person upstairs, we both saying hello at the same time. I was like, oh, what in the world's going on? Verizon, Lowell McAdam. I'm going to put a picture on here and I'm going to show you who he is, because these people think they could sit around and just fumble with people's lives, play with women's lives, especially, and our children, and take advantage of us and just throw us to the ground like it's all right. Okay. Now, let me show you something else. I've been a singer. Whenever they took jobs for me and I couldn't work, I always try to find another way to make some money. So singing was another talent that I had. It wasn't hidden, but it was just another talent. And I didn't have to use it all the time, but I loved to sing. So I would go out do shows. I was singing through my pregnancy, in between jobs and stuff like that, because I know they just kept taking every job I had. They wouldn't let me work, and I couldn't understand why. When I first started singing, this is what the copyrights look like. Okay. This is the front of it. Now, don't worry about the red seal for the most part. It looks like this without the red seal when you first fill it out. Okay. And then not only that, but this is what the back looks like. Okay. Now, as you can see, everything is handwritten. Everything is handwritten. Okay. And that song, by the way, is called Keeping It Real. All right. Keeping It Real. And then here's another song I did called Wondering. Okay. I'm showing you this because I'm trying to let you see. I kept everything handwritten, and I deliberately did that. Okay, this was my first works of art. It's called Sorry. That was my first time ever copyrighting anything. So, okay, I copyright 2 songs. One is called My Eyes Is For You, and the other song is called This Feeling Is Real. Now I handwritten these copyrights just same way I did that. But what happens is when you send it out blank, you send it out. It's all this is blank, including the blue letters you see here. All this is blank. Okay, all of this whole portion, and it comes like this. You fill all this out, and you fill out all the back. And when you send it in, they send it back to you with a red seal with this information, address. I mean, a signature, and your PAU number. Right, your PAU number means that's works of art. Okay, everything is there, the date and everything. Okay, so when I send out these two songs the same way, handwritten, everything, look what they sends me back. No, first I decided I was going to sue them. So when I went to sue them, I was saying, okay, I'm going to sue y'all for $10 million because that's copyright infringement. Because where's the copyrights I sent to you guys and y'all sent them somewhere else? Right away, the first thing they did was looked it up and they were saying, whoa, they sent it. But this is what the copyrights look like. They came back like this. Look at that. See that? They're printed. They're both printed. Okay. And just so you know, they're giving me the PAU numbers here. That might be true. But what happened to the form, the complete form that I filled out with the red seal? See, this only time you fill out this form is when you have a copyright works of art. This right here pertains to if you have like a logo or if you have a painting. These are the forms you get. Furthermore, nobody types. I never types. This is what it looks like because I had sent them a copy of my logo. And this was back when I was doing my company Armor Promotions. Okay. Oops. This is what the logo looked like. See? Now when I sent them, this is a picture of the logo. So being that I sent that to them, there was no reason for them to send me the other copies that looked like it was a picture that I was sending to them. I wasn't sending them a picture. So now that goes to show they did it again. Now they took my music from me, kept me from singing because I'm not going to sing the song and then who knows, they will probably more than likely get the credit, even though it's saying PAU here and they give me the information, but there's no signature on here. It tells you who the person is. Like, even if I look on the back, just so you know, look on the back, we sign everything. See, there's no signature. So I have no proof stating that I'm even the copyright owners of the song. So if I go out and sing the song, the person who has the copyright, the true copyrights, they will get compensated. And it goes back to Housing Authority, aka Mafia. I had enough of this. I had enough is enough is enough. I'm not doing it no more. Nope. I'm not gonna go another year. I'm not gonna do another month. You know, this just gets on my it got on my last nerves. I'm done. I just wanted to make this quick. Okay. My daughter right here, Chanel, she had to be murdered because I thought that as a mother, I had the responsibility to take care of my child. And you can't live off welfare, whether if it was today or then, to take care of children. It wasn't going to work. It would not work. It's not going to work because welfare wasn't enough. You couldn't even pay your rent. So you was always behind in your electric. Maybe not even your rent, but your gas. You was always behind. I'm done. I got more to talk about this. So anyway, I am trying so hard not to um let this get the best of me, because it's been so bad over the years of trying to alleviate the entire problem. And I figured if I move from the area, maybe things would change, and this would prompt me to move to Pennsylvania. And of course, I thought everything went in Pennsylvania. That's where everything begun. And come to find out, it wasn't even in Pennsylvania. It was in Newark. Everything started, and everything was going on in Newark. So now, back on, just to show you, I started discovering so much. I mean, it was like one thing led to another, and something led to something else, and it just everything just kept landing in my lap. So this how I know God starts stepping in, and God started making it possible for me not only to learn these things, but keep had me just abreast on top of everything. Nothing could move without me knowing about it. And if somebody was to do something wrong, He would point them out and He would show me who they are. But look at this. This is my electric bill. Okay. Let me put my finger on it. Okay. This is where I was living on 117 Brookdale Avenue in Newark, New Jersey. Okay. Where my finger is, I'm showing you that my electric bill was $7,298.95. Why was my bill that high? You know why my bill was that high? My bill was that high because they had an agreement with PSC&G to allow the women's electric bill to stay on no matter how high the bill get. And I kept trying to figure out, why would they let my bill go this high knowing I can't even afford it if it was over $300, yet alone 7,000. They want to watch you. They want to watch your daughters and your children, whether they're getting undressed, and very, very, personable moments. But you gotta have electricity on for them to videotape you. So as they're videotaping you, whether you have intimacy with your boyfriend or anybody else for that matter, or if your kids was getting undressed after they took a bath, went in their room, closed the door to have a little privacy. A little privacy don't hurt nobody. But what was they doing? Videotaping everyone, not only me and my children, everybody who's on Section 8 is being videotaped as I speak. So when you thinking that, oh, well, I'm just, it's just, that's you, honey. It ain't me. Oh, yeah, you too. My bill was this high. I couldn't afford that bill if I wanted to. And then they had the audacity to try to ask me to pay the bill. PSC&G. So I wrote them a nice little letter and said to them, oh, you're going to deplete that bill. You might as well eliminate that bill because that will not be paid by me. Okay. And just so everybody is just so everybody to want out, let me rephrase that. Just so that everybody is aware, just know when your rent is being paid, Section 8 is not paying your rent. You are. You paying your own rent. And I'm going to tell you how. See, every time you have intercourse or any type of intimacy with your significant other, whether if it be a man or a female, okay, 9 times out of 10, you're being recorded. So every time you're being recorded, it goes onto a site. I seen that site one time, but I can't find it no more. When it goes on the site, you are a part of a site that they have a subscriber to. Like men have to subscribe to this site. And I don't think they have a particular age group that can subscribe, because there's no limitation on dudes. Okay. Now, once these men subscribe to these sites and they put information on about you, they wait and go into your websites, like not web pages, but more like your media pages, where there pictures of you where you done partied hard with your friend, you was dressed up looking cute. They done took those pictures and put it on that site about you and your significant other, or you period, so that men can say, make a choice. Okay, well, she's cute. Oh, I like the way she's having sex with him. Or I like the way she's doing something with that one. So I'm going to do something with her, or I'm going to go and introduce myself. So when you meet a man, it's not by chance or accident that you met that man. No, that was intentional. He already seen how you make your moves, or how you are intimate with your significant other or your true love. He wants part of it. And then they making money off you every time you have intercourse or some sort of intimacy with someone. So the whole time you thinking you cute, you're beautiful. Black is beautiful. A lot of men love black women. But because a man is interested in having intimacy with you, don't mean that's his first time being with you, or he's seen what your capabilities are. When you want to have intimacy with somebody, he just want in on it. Then another thing is, I try to figure out, how is it that they able to hear my conversations? How? Hmm. The smoke detectors. Some powerful equipment. It has to be very powerful, because how can you hear or know my conversation? How is it I can have a conversation with somebody over the phone, okay, because I'm right-handed, and I go to talk to somebody else, they already know the conversation before I could tell them. How's that possible? Hmm? Especially if it's a dude. How's that possible? So you know what I did? I asked God, God, how is it possible for them to know my conversations? I haven't talked to nobody but one person. How is it even possible at all? How is it possible for them to know everywhere I go, everywhere I visit, who I talk to, when I talk to them, how long I talk to them? I mean, how is it possible for them to do all of this? How does that even work? What did God tell me? They have an implant in your Olivia. Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? Really? Mm. So I had to think, how can they get an implant in me? How can they get an implant in me? How's that possible? How can somebody put an implant in you? So the first thing I did, I was like, I had an operation. I had an operation and had to have anesthesia, and it put me to sleep. I still have the mark right here on my breast, because they try to tell me that I have cancer, or they thought it was cancer. But then when they cut me open, I remember I was sleeping, or I had a procedure done. And when I came to in the hospital, the doctor was in my room, pacing the floor back and forth and back. And I'm like, woke up like, what you doing? He was pacing the floor. This doctor must have been so nervous. He would not tell me what was wrong. Would not. And I was wondering, what is it? What's wrong? He wouldn't tell me. He just was saying, I'm glad that you're all right. I'm glad that you're fine. So I'm like, why is he saying this to me? This was years ago. And by the way, that was St. James Hospital. He wouldn't tell me what was wrong. You have an obligation as a physician to reveal to a patient what your findings are about that patient, or you shouldn't be a doctor. So you know what God did? God closed the whole hospital down, shut them down. There is no more St. James Hospital in the city of Newark. Okay? Now, when God told me that I had the implant, not that I didn't believe him, but I couldn't figure out, how can I find out if I have an implant. So when I put in my paperwork to sue Housing Authority, I mean, you talking about so many people against me. It was people against me I didn't even think there would be. If anything, I thought maybe they should be happy that I'm, like, fighting them. But I had a couple of people. Matter of fact, I had more people against them than for them, because a lot of people found out what they were doing to me, and especially men. A lot of men found out what they were doing to me, and a lot of men was like they didn't like that at all. But nobody just came forward because you know why? They all know that number one, mafia is operating housing authority. Okay, so everybody wouldn't go against them. Number two, everybody was scared of them. Nobody would stand up to them. I'm probably the closest thing of actually fighting them. And since I'm fighting them and has been for many years, I mean, this is crazy because for some apparent reason, I figured this should end by now. Mm-mm. This is 2022 and I'm still fighting them in secrecy. But you know what? I'm sick of this secret mess. Now, I actually I gathered all my information because I had them on investigation. I investigated them myself, and because of what God told me, I knew it was true. Because God don't lie. Them is the fools that lie. Housing authority and everybody that's a part of housing authority. Those are the liars. Okay. But God about to come after them. He coming after them. He coming to get them. Now, this is judge. Because when you deal with the mafia is the type that when they want to come and send a message to you, they go after your family. They start messing with your kids and meddling with your children. Okay? So my children, as a woman of God, my children is God's grandchildren. Okay? Remember that. Now, when they begin to go after my children, the sad part is my kids had nothing to do with my fighting them. You can't fight me. Reveal who you are. And you know what? The funny thing is, they didn't have to reveal themselves because God showed me who they were. So I launched an investigation and gathered all my information, went downtown to the Superior Court of New Jersey Law Division, opened up a case against them, a big case. Okay. And when I took my information, they stole everything. They stole the pictures. They stole all of my correspondence and letters. They stole all of that stuff. I was so angry because it's bad enough they done took all my money. They won't let me work. I can't have a steady man anyway. This right here, okay, I want y'all to look at it real good. See that? That is saying it's a motion for me to take an x-ray. Now, I went to the courthouse. That was Judge Thomas Vina, who I put in a motion because I already had the case going because God taught me to be a lawyer. So I had the case going. But I put in a motion to take an x-ray because I needed to see for myself. If God told me you put an implant in me, that means I got an implant in me. I need to know where it's at. So I put in a motion to have an x-ray. And you know what? Judge Thomas Vina denied it. They denied me to take an x-ray. See, I needed it to be court ordered because every time I went to the doctors, I was always told, "Oh, well, you can't be seen. My insurance is not acceptable anymore." Or like one time I went to the doctors and I was telling them that, oh, here it is. This is from the university, the hospital, university hospital. See that bill? 500 and some odd dollars, $590. The last time I went to the doctor, that July 2007. See that? Look at the date. July, where is it? July 2007. Okay? Now, when I went to the hospital that day, I told them, listen, I need to have a sonogram done. And I'm going to tell you, I have a lot of pain. It was on my left side. When I went to have the sonogram done, dude, they would not even touch my left side. What is the problem? What is the problem? I have an implant in me and it's somewhere and I need to see a doctor. But even right now today, right now, if I can get up and go to see a doctor right now and be seen and have an x-ray done, I want my entire body x-ray because God said I got an implant in me and I know it's in there. I know it is implant in me because that's how they was able to figure out everywhere I went, who I talked to, how often I talked to, when I talked to them. Who keeps tabs on people like that? What makes them think somebody needs to be watched like that? The two letters, September 21st. This went to the United States Department of Justice. This letter is discussing how everything has transpired. I was a victim of human trafficking. Okay? Now, it's another letter. September, what is that? 17th, 2022. Okay? Where'd it go? It went to the FBI. Because right now, from the looks of things, you can tell they don't want they don't want this to get out. So my story is going to air, whether they want it to be or not. But I'm also letting them know I'm speaking to you spiritually. Because God not only used me to take care of a situation like this, because I have an impact on the entire world at this point. There's so many people on Section 8 and people waiting in line to get on Section 8, but don't have a clue. Understand that the minute you get on Section 8, you have just signed your life over. And I believe they have something to do with the triple sixes. But you know what? God is bigger. My God is bigger, and we are coming after you. So Housing Authority, prepare yourself, because you know what? All of you from the mafia on down, even to every detail of your home, your bank accounts, your children, your grandchildren, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, all of them is going to suffer God's wrath. And that is a guarantee. Okay? That's a guarantee. Now, you know what? I'm not done yet, because it's still more of this. It's still more to add to this story, because this story, oh my God, it is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And that means if I have an implant in me and I decide whatever it is I want to do, if I want to start a company, or if I wanted to work, they'll beat me to the punch and go to the job and tell the job something like, oh, well, you can't have her stay here long. She's only allowed to work 3 months. So that ruins not only your reputation as a Black woman, just a person, a woman, period. The integrity. Everything about you is completely destroyed because of what they have done to destroy all the values that is instilled in you, all your morals depleted. Once you go on the internet, you do not get that back. Let me end this segment, because there's going to be another part to this. Please share this with everybody you know, everybody you could think of, especially women on Section 8, because they don't know this. It's time. God is taking control. And I'm going to tell you about my dream. Because one thing about it, when God tells me something, whenever He shows me something, it comes true. And oh my God. It is so true. It is so true. So I'm going to end this right here, and I'll be back again. But look out for the next segment. Again, if you go to Harvesters, www.harvesters.store, look for the links page. You'll see some mushrooms there. Scroll down a little bit, and all the information about Housing Authority is listed there along with this video, if you want to provide it with other information. But we'll be talking again real soon. Okay? You guys have a good day. But this is not over.